truth seekers, dear Christians. This time I would like to make a video about the secret military bases the US shadow government has built within the United States and all across the world. From my memory alone, I could speak of Area 51, everybody knows this place. S4 is also a subpart of Area 51, Pine Gap in Australia, and many other places all across the world where the secret elites developed these underground cities actually for their own safety during the global turning. You must know that the elites have chronoscopes or the chronovisors that allows them to see the future and the past, but it is a potential future. They cannot see the actual future or else they would have changed their plans. In essence, the elites are working towards a 0 hour where apparently their liberators will come from the skies, the Reptilians, the Greys and Insectoids, and our people, the Imperial Germans, the inner earthen races of Agartha, and the Federation of Light people, want freedom for everybody on this planet. So on one side, we have the US shadow government, who is actually initiated Satanists, that is actually working with these negative extraterrestrials to enslave all of mankind. Mind, not everybody who works within this system is actually evil. So there are good people in the police force, there are good people in the medicinal world, there are good people in the pharmaceutical world, there are good people in every institution. But the powers that be, the real power holders, are initiated Satanists or occultists. They eat and sacrifice babies and children. That's how evil they are. So in essence, Area 51 is a secret location in the Nevada desert, and there they have secret spacecraft, but it's also a spaceport. You must know that the US shadow government has spacecraft, like in Star Trek, and that they have a small fleet operational. In the secret space program, the Russians and the Americans are always working together. As in this podcast from Joe Rogan and Bob Lazar and Jeremy Corbell, he explains in this video that during his working in this facility at S4, on the propulsion systems, on the alien propulsion systems, that he also saw Russian scientists working there. This tells us that the Russians are actually collaborating with the Americans in the secret space program, and that this huge communism versus capitalism is a part of the divide and conquer strategy to actually enslave the world by the implementation of the one world order or the world communist order. That is why we have so many games portraying a one world order like XCOM, or many games where the United Nations becomes the new ruling body of the world with the United Nations Task Force or the United Nations military. This global centralization of power is what the powers that be want. They want one global currency. They want to abolish actually the boundaries. At the same time, they're destabilizing our white Western countries by allowing massive non-white immigration into these countries. That is a fact. You can't talk about these subjects without being labeled a racist, a hater, a Nazi, an anti-Semite, but it's the truth. There's legal and illegal immigration, and the powers that be are brainwashing the populace to accept illegal immigration as the normal status quo. In Europe alone, over 2 million migrants arrived in the last 5 years alone. The crime rate soared in the German cities because of this, and nothing's being done about this. It's a very interesting podcast from Joe Rogan. The conversation of the engineer that worked with these projects is very interesting. He says that the motors of these alien crafts don't have any type of wiring, and when we research Nikola Tesla online, we find out that Nikola Tesla found out a method on how to make light bulbs glow in the dark practically without any wiring. And we already have the latest type of charging mechanism for our iPhones. The latest type of charging mechanism for our iPhones, as an example, is wireless. So wireless transference of electricity or energy is more than possible, and these engines are thousands of years more advanced than our own propulsion systems on Earth. But Jeremy Corbell worked in these projects 30-40 years ago. So in essence, you have to make a quantum leap forward, and then you can understand what type of technology the powers that be have. You must know that every single time they find something incredible, like a Stargate, they create series in Hollywood to overlay the fact that they actually found such a gate. Stargate is actually based on a real finding. The powers that be know what Stargates are. These are actually portals, alien-made portals or man-made portals from other civilizations thousands of years ago that allows you to travel to other planets or moons or other parallel dimensions using Stargates. This is comparable to Stan Wolf or Wolfgang Stadler, with the writer of the books Gems of Dominion. The first 2 books are translated into English, you can buy them online. He tells in his books that he traveled from multiple portals back in time into potential futures and even to the inner earth, where he says that the inner earth is a parallel dimension and not hollow. This is a map that I found online about the secret deep military bases that the United States shadow government has. And alone in the United States, there are over 60 underground military bases. And these underground military bases can contain thousands of people. Some of these underground cities have over 10,000 people, and many people never come up again. They live in these underground cities, like in the movie Resident Evil, where these underground cities are completely isolated from the outside world. Or the movie The Island, as an example, they also portray these underground cities. Another underground facility is Pine Gap in Australia, and it is huge. When you Google Pine Gap online, you will find out that the Parallelum made a series to cover up the truth that Pine Gap is a secret military base in Australia. There's a series on this, but the series portrays Pine Gap as a simply radio surveillance station of the US shadow military. Other facilities that you should Google are, as an example, HAARP. HAARP is a system of antennas worldwide that allows them to control the weather. In combination with satellites, they can literally create storms if needed, or even entire earthquakes or even tsunamis. The so-called big great disasters in the last 30 years are most likely the outcome of battles between the Imperial Germans and the US shadow government and the Russian shadow government. As an example, the Malaysia earthquake or the Malaysia tsunami, apparently 3 detonations underwater were responsible for the Malaysia earthquake, where the US shadow government detonated 3 nuclear bombs underwater. These are all conspiracy theories that you can research online and find out. Then you can also research the earthquakes of Japan, why they're also or at the same depth, and then you find out that most of these earthquakes have the appearance of being artificial. Then you find out that Hollywood is intertwined with the CIA and shadow government, and that they produce these movies to intertwine the truth in such a way that when everybody Googles for it, that there are movies and series portraying these subjects to cover up the truth. Everybody loves to play these video games where you apparently have to play an android, like Detroit Become Human, or the series They're Better Than Us. I like them. It's about biosynthetic life or synthetic life. But what they want us to do is to accept the fact that in the near future, we'll accept synthetics as our mates. In essence, you cannot procreate with synthetics. So if a man chooses a synthetic wife that is so realistic and so hot because she's designed, then he will no longer procreate. There is another way of reducing our birth rate and another way to control us. The US shadow government has been experimenting with robotics since the 70s. They actually have research facilities comparable to Terminator movies where they're building Terminators for the coming wars. A long time ago, 10 years ago, I seen a video from Arte, an official German channel, and it was a banned video where you could see that the Russians were also developing cybernetic technologies. You saw these grown men with synthetic arms, but that they were so strong that they could lift entire trees, small trees, they could simply lift it, or cars. And this was from experiments in the 70s or 80s. And it was an official channel from the German news network that made these videos. Then they censored it, and someone uploaded it on YouTube, and then they censored it on YouTube. There's more between heaven and earth that we can think of. Once you start researching the truth, people, the sky is the limit. There's so many witness testimonies, so many contactees on the extraterrestrials that you can read dozens, if not hundreds of books on the subject. If you research spiritism, out-of-body experiences, ghosts, poltergeist, everything that has to do with the other world, the magical world, then you will see that there are spirits, there are ghosts, that we all have a soul, that we can live or exist without a body. William Bullman, Adventures Beyond the Body. You combine the spiritual world with the extraterrestrial world, and that there is truth in every religion, in the Vedas, in the Babylonian myths and legends, even in the Greek sagas. Every religion has a core truth to it. I believe in Jesus by insight because once you start becoming aware of the biblical truth, you become aware that Jesus is alive and kicking in the other world and helping where he can. I've had multiple experiences where I felt Jesus from the other world, and I've had multiple spiritual experiences where I even had a talk with the Father up there. So for me, these experiences are real. And if you talk to Christians that are spiritually aware and know that in 2 or 3 that gather in Jesus Christ's name, that he's actually there, and that they can communicate with Christ in that manner, then you know that the Christians know that Jesus Christ is the God, the Son of God, and the Father is also God. The Federation of Light actually tells us to trust in Jesus. And the Bible is not exclusive. Over 70 or 80 times the word truth is used in the Bible, but the word truth is not exclusive. Everything that supports the truth, the biblical truth, that wants to heal the universe, wants to forgive and heal the universe, is part of the biblical truth. That is why the Bible says the Father is happy when you wander in the truth. It tells you actually to seek out the truth. These are one of my older videos I made in Argentina. It's called Alex and the Alex of the Imperial Germans. And in this part, I describe 8 extraterrestrial races, 4 benevolent and 4 or 5 malevolent, the Reptilians are actually in contact with the Russian shadow government and with the US shadow government, and they've been supplying the US shadow government and the Russian shadow government with technology so that the US shadow government can reverse engineer that to create their own spaceships. These videos from the Reptilians were released by a YouTuber over 8 years ago, and it shows actual footage of these extraterrestrials. The Reptilians gave the technology to the US shadow government and the Russian shadow government, and they've been working together in the secret space program. That is why even Joe Rogan in the interview stated that Russian scientists and Russian engineers were working with American engineers in the S4, or the secret facilities at the Area 51. The US shadow government also has contract with the Reptilians, with the tall and short greys, and the Insectoids. Once you start researching the truth on the history of World War I and World War II, and actually every war since World War II, on who's really behind it, on who controls the media, on who controls the educational systems, on who controls the newspapers, or what is written upon them, on who controls the money, or who generates and creates money and loans it out on interest, and then enslaves the whole world through debt. Those people that control the banks, that control what we see every day, what we eat, what we see, those are the ones that are responsible for all the wars on Earth. War is not natural. We do not want to keep fighting and keep killing ourselves, because we all strive actually for peace and harmony. The world is not overpopulated. If you watch my video Alex on the abortion industry, you will come to the insight that there's more than enough arable land in this world to feed everybody, and that we can terraform the Sahara to make it into arable land. The technology is there. The powers that be do not want us to have these technologies. Cancer has been curable since over 100 years now, and the powers that be that control the pharma industry suppress these alternative cures for cancer to this day. In the 1930s, a vibration type technology was used to dissolve cancer cells. That was in the 1930s. There are over 10 alternative therapies that I portray in my German video Alex and the Forbidden Cancer Cures. If you want to watch the English version, it's Cancer, the Forbidden Cures by Enrico Mazzini. It's also on my channel. Feel free to check it out. So the US shadow government has a network of bases all across the world, has a network of underground facilities, pretty much like the Hive in Resident Evil. They have artificial intelligence developed to that level that AI can take over most operations in these underground facilities. They have a space fleet. They have a commercial space fleet. The US shadow government has contracts with negative extraterrestrials that want to conquer our planet. The Insectoids and the Reptilians will conquer this world in such a way that they can use its resources and its population. The Reptilians like eating human flesh, and so do the Insectoids. In essence, we are not on top of the food chain, but there are also other humans that also eat other humans, and that cannibalism has been normal on the round Earth since thousands of years. You just have to Google the cannibal restaurant in LA to see that they're becoming more and more public about this. And recently, in the newspapers, it is suggested that we should start eating other humans to fight global warming, where you know that global warming is a hoax, and that they're actually trying to normalize cannibalism. There's a German video that I made on the global child trade. 8 million children go missing worldwide every year, people. And many of these children are shipped off world. Around 20 million women get shipped into slavery every year. It's incredible now that an entire population the size of Belgium or a small US state disappears every year. If you Googled 8 million children, UN missing children, you'll see the report. It's a UN report where they say that around 8 million children go missing every year worldwide. It's an official UN report. This is from The Standard, an official UK media outlet, and it says, a scientist suggests eating human meat to tackle climate change. It's incredible that they're now suggesting to the population that eating human meat is normal and should be accepted. As I've said before, the Reptilians will be welcomed as liberators. and the reptilians eat human flesh, and they will tell us that we will need to respect the wishes of our liberators. And if you want a really great video that is really well made, Radioactive, Imagine Dragons cover from Daughtry.
Waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals. I'm breaking in, shaping up.
It's a beautiful song, but I'm not going to play everything. The link is in the description if you want to see the whole thing. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. Now I'm going to transport to Berlin, Germany, to the Bismarck-Denkmal in Tiergarten. Alex, the transport room 2, could you transport me to Berlin, Tiergarten? Alex, to USS Trident, I arrived safely in Berlin Tiergarten at the Bismarck-Denkmal. Thanks a lot. Well, people, I hope you enjoyed this video. Many greetings from the Bismarck-Denkmal in Berlin, and cheers!